only agreed after a long delay to commence negotiations on the 2025-29 CBA. The counteroffer presented by government of 3.1 billion to cover the basic salaries for the entire 4-year period with the respect is with respect grossly inadequate as illustrated below. In 2013-2017 CBA, the amount for basic salary and annual increments was 15.2 billion for 4 years. 2017-2021, the same 16.57 billion for salaries and pension component for 4 years. 9.7 for 2 years. Therefore, the unions are taken aback that a CBA that is going to take 4 years is being estimated to cost 3.1 billion. It represents an average annual increment of 2% or cumulative 8.25% over 4 years. Where other public sectors, workers in education such as teachers, have been offered 12%, 29.5% increment under their 2025-2029 CBA. The offer falls substantially below the parameters of the Consumer Price Index as provided under the Wage Guidelines 2025, which serve as a reference point for CBA negotiations. Based on CBI projections, a baseline increment of at least 26.1% over the 4 years period would merely serve to compensate for loss of purchasing power. In this context, harmonization with the 29.5% increment according to teachers, the Teacher Service Commission framework would ensure fairness and equity across public sector. I want to move to the way forward, Honorable Chair. Will the unions urge this Honorable Committee to prevail upon IPCF, Ministry of Education, and the National Treasury to release the outstanding 7.9 billion at once to fully implement 2017-21 CBA. The next, we ask the House to prevail upon IPCF, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Labor, Social Protection to adopt anti-ministerial and the whole of government approach under the chairmanship of Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection to engage the unions with a view to expediting the resolution of all outstanding matters, including at the point of drafting and eventual return to work formula. Lastly, we want to impress upon the House to ensure that IPCCF, in collaboration with SRC, the Ministry of Education, and National Treasury, presents a fair and reasonable offer to the unions to facilitate the negotiation, signing, registration, and implementation of 2025-29 CBA without undue delay, as occurred in the 2017-21 CBA. Lastly, Honorable Chair, request Education Committee to allocate and appropriate adequate funds to support the full implementation of the 2025-29 CBAs once concluded. As we conclude, Uasu, Kusa, and Kudea would like to appreciate the opportunity granted by the National Assembly Education Committee to provide the perspectives of both academic staff and university staff. Thank you, and may God bless you abundantly.
Thank you. You've made your presentation very well. Now we come to the CS and your team.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, what's out of order?
Chair, just as a matter of concern, you will find that SRC is adversely mentioned in these presentations, but during the introduction and looking at the letter that invited all the stakeholders seated in front of us, SRC was one of the invited bodies. I didn't hear any SRC member here, neither did I hear the chair reading an apology.
I had indicated in my preliminaries that I called the SRC personally and the labor relations and the labor CS, and he had indicated that in their submissions and what the SG is saying, they were part and parcel of an agreement which the CS and the team will be able to table before this committee. So they felt that because the issues that they are what is raising, they have already discussed and they have tabled before this, it will not actually have time to do that presentation because it is part of government agencies who are here. And the two top government leaders who are here are the CS National Treasury and the CS Education. So, and they say that they were part of your discussions. Is that okay? They were part of the discussion. So I allowed them because they didn't want to, they said, we have made part of our bargain, but if need be arising out of this discussion, if there is need for us to call them, we shall invite them, if that is the case. Yes, we can. Yes.
Thank you, Chair, for that clarification, and I concur with the Honorable Isairo. From the presentation we've heard from the union, and I know the ministry will talk about it, the SRC appears to be the main fulcrum around which this mess has been created, and
not the same the issues
that have been created. And if the ministry is confident enough, they can represent SRC. Fair enough, but SRC should have appeared here.
Thank you. And that's proper. Think properly that we invite SRC on its own, and they are going to give us their part of the story. So them being here or not being here, let's not discuss it now. Let's allow the Minister of Education to make presentation, but we shall know in our discussion that if there is a gap, we shall invite SRC to appear. Proceed, Waziri.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we are here following your invitation to us to discuss the petition on the funding of the collective bargaining agreement for employees of the public universities and colleges of Kenya. The bargaining collective bargaining agreement for 2017, 2021 and 2025-2029. We note, Chair, that the petition raised that the National Assembly urgently allocates funds for the full implementation of the 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement totaling 7.9 billion, and to urgently allocate funds for the implementation of the 2025-2029 collective bargaining agreement, which is not yet done. Chair, we are grateful to the committee for inviting all of us to this meeting, especially now that we are trying to find a solution to the ongoing industrial action by the university staff. Chair, the team from the Interpublic Universities Council's Consultative Forum, led by Professor Daniel Mugendi and Professor Simiu Barasa, will make a detailed presentation on the subject matter in response to the petition. However, I just wish to give a general context as follows. Chair, the 2017-2021 CBAs were signed on the 28th of October 2019. The government disbursed a total of 8.8 billion towards that CBA between the financial years 2020-2021 and financial year 2021-2022 to facilitate the implementation across the 38 universities that were in existence then and constituent colleges. At the time of commencing the current industrial action, the unions asserted that the sum outstanding under the 2017-2021 CBA was Kenya shilling 7.9 billion, while SRC advised the ministry that the balance was 624 on the basis that part of the 7.9 billion had been paid to the staff through their normal annual increment. Chair, due to these divergent positions, and the Secretary Uasu has taken us through the steps that we've gone through, it was deemed necessary to undertake an objective verification exercise through a comprehensive review of the payroll data of all the public universities, and in this exercise, SRC took a leading role. Here, a joint verification exercise was conducted by SRC and IPUCCF between 18th and 21st of October 2025, and the verified confirmed balance was 7.9 billion. Out of this figure, Chair, the sum of 200 million had already been released by the universities to the universities and is held by them after the payment of the 8.8 billion, leaving a balance currently of 7.76 billion. Following this verification, Chair, we offered to pay the verified balance in 3 installments of 2.1 billion in the first installment and 2.8 billion in each of the last 2 installments, totaling 7.7 billion. The unions, on the other hand, demanded a one-off payment. We made an offer thereafter to pay this outstanding sum in 2 equal installments.
Orders, yes. We are trying to follow you up. You are using a different document from the IPCCUF?
Yes, I'm just making a global presentation.
Your own brief.
My own brief, and then the
So
details.
after that particular brief, you will table that document will be part of our proceedings.
Yes, Chair.
That's okay.
Right. So I'm saying after the initial rejection of the 3 first payment installment, we made a proposal that we paid in 2 installments of 50% each, which was rejected by unions as well. Their position is still that this 7.9 billion has to be paid in a one-off. Despite our arguments that this money has not been budgeted for, having come to the attention of the ministry after the budget cycle of 2025-2026 had been completed on the 28th of March. Chair, that is the current position. We are ready to continue engaging with the unions to achieve a speedy and amicable resolution of the industrial action and to ensure that the operations of our universities return to normal. We are open to the good faith and candid negotiations. And that's why we were keen on the verification of the actual balance, because there was a divergent view of what was outstanding. And IPUCCF, SRC has issued negotiating beacons, which I think the Secretary General has referred to guide the negotiations. And there has been an appeal on the opening of that space to allow for further negotiations so that they can come to an agreed position. And at this juncture, I wish to invite our team from the IPUCCF to make the presentation on the 2017-2021 CBA, as well as the status of the negotiations of the 2025-2029 CBA.